This outdated 90s kitchen really needs a makeover, and my husband and I have already done so much to it already, but we have a big problem. This is crazy stuff happening right now. You see, we still have a bit more to do to finish this project off, but we can't afford to hire out all the work. We also have to balance our other responsibilities while learning to DIY as we go. I'm so annoyed. It doesn't look good. I just want it to work. But we're determined to push past our limitations and create a home we love with our own hands. So join me on our journey of making our house a home little by little. Hi guys, it is a whole new week. I finished building the braces for my open shelving. Now I'm in my garage. I'm gonna start cutting down some of this half round molding, and I'm going to use them as like the border of my shelf so that it gives a really pretty fluted detail. I just think it's gonna be really cool. I definitely need this. In order to achieve the fluted look that I really wanted, I started cutting down the half round molding to 3-inch pieces to match the thickness of my open shelves. I used a speed square instead of a tape measure to mark my cuts, as I found it allowed for a pretty efficient workflow. Should I be wearing my work gloves? Maybe I should. I might as well use them to avoid like splinters, right? Safety first. I was really excited to get all of my pieces cut down, but of course I was met with a few challenges while using the miter saw. What in the world? What is going on? Something's like in the way of this. What? Okay, I think it was that. Okay, we're good now. We should be. After a brief interruption, I got right back to work. I decided to use one of my cuts as a cut guide and taped it to my miter saw platform to make my cuts without having to measure each time. I did make sure to check my measurements after making that first initial cut with the guide before moving forward with my remaining cuts, just to make sure that I wasn't making any mistakes along the way. What? Why is it stuck? Why is it stuck? I've never seen this in my life. Oh, I see. This is crazy stuff happening right now. This right here, when you close the table saw, you're supposed to flip this underneath here, and it's like a lip that keeps it locked, like for safety purposes. I think the dust bag here kind of like caused it to move. I'm gonna like put it on the other side now. Hopefully that doesn't happen again. Guys, super awkward because I laid out the pieces of half round trim that I cut, and I only measured enough for one shelf. I don't know why I didn't take into consideration that I have 2 shelves, which means I'm gonna have to buy probably 1 or 2 more in order to be able to do both shelves. I'm back in the kitchen. I got all of my little half round pieces cut for the open shelving. I need to actually wipe down the tile surface again. There's always a haze after. I'm just gonna get a wet sponge and wipe it off. It typically will come off pretty easy without using a haze remover. Removing the haze was a pretty simple and straightforward process. I simply used a wet sponge to wipe away any of the remaining grout residue from the surface of the tiles, and while this step is always an arm workout, there wasn't a lot of surface area to wipe down, so it wasn't that bad this time around. Right now, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna be caulking the corner here where I tiled, just so everything is really seamless in this corner before I actually finish off the shelf. Then after that, I'm gonna move on to the window. I have this Maple T Plus caulk. It's made specifically for tile projects. Okay, hopefully that's good enough. I'm already getting it everywhere. I have a little bit of grout in these corners here, so I'm going to try to notch it out with my box cutter. Some might be thinking, why not just caulk right over those areas? But I wanted to make sure to do this the right way so that I don't compromise the quality of my work. I think we're done. I cleaned it up as much as it's gonna be cleaned. And of course I made sure to clean up any debris as I go so that everything was as neat as possible. Okay, let's see. Towels feel so clean, really clean. As you're about to see, what was supposed to be a fairly quick and easy job pretty much became impossible for me to complete. I think I might cut this. The caulk was all dried up in the tube and I could not get it out for the life of me. It like does not want to come out. There's no way it's all dried in here, right? Like, this is kind of getting on my nerves. I'm not gonna lie. Ugh, this is so frustrating. Oh my gosh, it's getting hot. Looks like I'm going to move on to something else right now. I am going to tackle this trim here. I need to sand down this window here, and so that way I can get it ready to prime it and paint it. But you guys know the whole ordeal with the cove molding trim that happened, and I need to replace this side of it because there's a big gap here and I don't think it's worth trying to fill with just Bondo. I mean, it might be. That way I don't have to take it down and then put it back up. I don't know. I really don't know. But I think I don't know what I'm gonna do, guys. I'm just gonna start sanding the window. That's my best bet because at least I know it has to be done. I have some spackling here. I'm going to use it to spackle the nail holes on the trim. Oh my gosh, what the heck? There's mold growing in my spackling. I didn't even know that was possible. Okay, I'm gonna throw this out because that is so weird. I have my other spackling tub. There's no mold in this one, so that's good. After getting rid of the moldy spackling, I was able to use another one that I had on hand without having to make another trip to the hardware store. I used the spackling to fill the nail holes in the PVC cove molding that I previously installed around the window frame, and while it may not make any sense at all as I say this now, this actually ended up being a complete waste of my time, and you'll see why later on in this video. I opened up the window and I put some tape behind here, and I'm gonna use some Bondo to try to fill in the seam here where the PVC trim molding is. To be honest, I don't want to have to go buy more. I don't want to have to take it down and redo it, and I already have what I need to fill this seam, so that's what we're gonna do. Once I got all of the Bondo mixed up and ready to go, I was able to start filling the seam. I didn't realize at the time that I was foreshadowing what was to come when I explained that I didn't want to remove the trim I had previously installed. But here I am, happily working in delusion as I fill in the seam with Bondo anyways. I used a popsicle stick to help me get into the crevices easier, and this virtually took me no time at all to complete. Hi guys, it's the next day and I finished filling that little gap with the Bondo. Now what I'm going to do is sand everything down. I also spackled the nail holes on the PVC trim. I also need to sand the actual window, and I'm also going to clean it. I need to get it ready for primer and paint. When getting ready to paint any surface, prepping the surface that you're painting is probably even more important than getting the actual paint on. It's important to take the right measures to prep your surface well, whether it be cleaning it, scuff sanding, or priming it. All of which I'm doing before I ever get the first coat of paint on this window and trim. I used a really good household cleaner to get any dust and debris off of the window before sanding to make sure that I wasn't just sanding dirt and grime right into the window. Sanding down the window makes sure that any inconsistencies in the finish of the window are smoothed out, And it also helps to ensure that the primer will better adhere to the surface and in turn will give me a more durable finish. And for such a small task, this was a bit labor intensive if I do say so myself. So bad. This is about the time when I started to realize that I might actually have to redo some of this window trim in order for the window to function properly, as it wasn't closing properly at all. Why is it not closing? We've had issues with this window in the past. It's not closing all the way. I don't know why. I don't know what I should do. And of course I distracted myself from the problem by sanding some more. Oh my gosh, I'm done. I'm done. I think it'll be fine now. Okay, I'm gonna vacuum all the dust up now. After getting the window sanded down, I cleaned up all the dust that was left behind with my vacuum and then realized that now would be a great time to remove any excess paint that was left on the window glass from the paint job that was done prior. I used a simple razor blade and scraped the paint off the glass to get it done. Okay guys, I just finished sanding back the entire window. I cleaned off all of the paint that was on the actual glass too, and everything vacuumed up, wiped it down with some rubbing alcohol to get the window as clean as possible. I'm going to tape off the glass of the windows so that way when I start to prime and paint it doesn't get on the glass. And I need to sand the PVC trim because I didn't do that, I forgot. So I'm gonna do that now. I just used some painter's tape to mask off the window and prevent any primer or paint from getting on the glass. This is a simple but important step that will allow the results to be as clean as possible. Okay, now I'm gonna start sanding the corners where the Bondo is. And as if I didn't get enough sanding in for the day, here I found myself sanding some more. And if only I knew at this point that it was all for nothing. So I finished sanding everything. Now I'm gonna prime. This is my favorite primer, the BIN primer. It's shellac based. So one thing I love about this is that it says you can apply it in temperatures as low as 0 degrees Fahrenheit. So it's winter here right now. It's in the 30s right now, and I'm gonna have to open and close the window as I'm doing this. So it's great that I can still use this primer as the temperature is dropped. Once I was done getting this window all primed up, I was done for the workday. First, I'm going to sand off the spackle on the PVC trim, and then I'm going to prime it, and then from there stain the picture frame molding. So that's what we're going to do. It may seem like I'm just doing a bunch of prep work, and it might feel a little bit redundant, but it just goes to show how crucial it is to prep your projects before jumping to the big steps. I've seen what happens when you just slap a coat of paint on an older door or window just to cover it up, and it's just not a good look. So I have this Minwax stain here. It's a semi-transparent stain, and this is in the color Early American. So this is what I'm going to use to stain the picture frame molding around the window. I'm a little nervous because I don't know, I'm just nervous. This could go a lot of different ways. So let's see how it goes. So I don't know if you guys remember, but previously I had said that I planned to paint the window trim to match the cabinet color, and that was something that I had thought through for a while. But on this day, I decided to deviate from the plan and go in a completely different direction. So I stained the trim instead. And well, let's just say it backfired. This is like a little bit closer to what it looks like on camera than it really came out. The filler, you can just tell like it stands out so much. I just wasn't a fan of this result. I just finished staining the window trim, the picture frame molding, and I really hate it. I don't like it at all. That's kind of my fault because I should have used wood conditioner or like pre-stain, but I felt like it would have been fine. The other thing is that in the seams where I wood filled, it doesn't look good. I'm not satisfied with that. So I'm going to let this dry and then paint over it to match the cabinets. And I think that's gonna make it look a little bit more modern. No. What happened here? It broke.
It just, yeah, I was squeezing it.
I'm gonna use my fingers and see if I can caulk it then. The tube of caulking breaking ended up being a happy accident because that meant that I was able to use all the leftover contents in the bottle that weren't dried up, and I didn't have to make another trip to the hardware store and spend even more money on this project. So I was happy to use up what I needed to finish this towel job and throw the broken tube away. If I'm not mistaken, when you lay tile, you're not supposed to like lay it literally on top of the counter. You're supposed to leave a little bit of space so that you can caulk in between and there's room for that joint to move. And it looks like I tiled directly on top of the counter, so that's super fun. Either that or I got so much grout that I can't tell, but I don't know. I'm gonna caulk it anyways and see what happens. Can't be that bad, right? I followed the same steps to caulk the joint between the bottom of the tiles and the countertop, and while this method took some effort to clean, I was glad I was able to get it completed. This is a hot mess.
It's a hot mess.
What is happening right now? The baby wipes really helped me to clean up any excess caulk that got into the grout lines and made cleanup a lot more doable. So guys, at this point, somehow the cable that connects my microphone to my camera was slightly disconnected and the audio for the next few clips wasn't captured. But no worries, I'll walk you through what happened next. I picked up a pack of toggle bolts from Harbor Freight for about $4 and used those to install my shelf braces where I would have had a stud to screw into. I secured the brace to the side of the wall where I did actually have studs, and then while it was up, I started drilling a small hole in my 2x3 where I would be securing it using the toggle bolt. This would ensure that the holes I made in the wall were in the right location and weren't off at all. I was a little bit all over the place with this install because I was having a hard time getting the toggle to stay on the bolt while I tried to push it into the wall. And it would either slip off the bolt, get stuck in the hole in the 2x3, or just would not go into the wall at all. The toggle ended up getting stuck into the 2x3 and I had to take several measures to pry it out so that way I was able to use this brace that I made. I had to put the braces up only to take them down quite a few times, and while I was feeling overwhelmed and frustrated, I tried to remain as positive as possible. My design assistant even decided to brainstorm with me, and I decided it was best to call it a night and reattempt this tomorrow with a fresh set of eyes. After the huge ordeal that I had with the pantry shelves, I decided to head to Lowe's with my assistant and purchase a different brand of toggle bolts to see if this would solve my problem. I think this is the one. 1/4 inch, that looks about right. I'm gonna get this one because I don't need that many. Hi guys, it's a brand new day and I went to Lowe's to get some new toggle bolts. The ones that I got from Harbor Freight just were not doing it. I feel like they weren't really well made. I guess in this instance, cheaping out was not the best option. This pack was like $3 or $4 and it came with like 18 bolts of different sizes, but I ended up going with these toggler ones. It just feels a lot better quality, so I think that this is going to be the better bet for me. Right now I'm going to be taking these shelves down once again. I'm going to be installing my toggle bolts and then I'll reinstall the shelves, and at this point I'm pretty certain that it's going to work, so I'm hoping for the best. I'm just going to stay positive and do what I have to do. There's no way I charged this battery. Oh wait, I should have kept that shelf up and then drilled my holes first before I took it down, so that way I know exactly where my hole is gonna be. Drill a 1/2 inch hole. So I just put this back up. I realized that my best bet is to have the shelf already in place where I want it and then drill my hole. Oh no, we have a problem. I don't see my 1/4 inch drill bit. What in the world? We're missing the one drill bit that I need. Make it make sense. This can't be right. How are we missing the one drill bit that I actually need?
Where did you put it?
I don't know.
Didn't you have it yesterday?
No. At least I don't think so. I'm so annoyed. I'm gonna go look in the garage. Yay. Alright guys, I found the drill bit in the garage. It was in our large toolbox. So now I can get to work. What the heck? Guys, tell me why I was looking for a 1/4 inch drill bit and it clearly says 1/2 inch. So I really just needed a 1/2 inch, which is crazy. I don't know why I'm so nervous because this, look how big that is. Like, I'm pretty sure, yeah, it has to be that big, but it's kind of scary that it literally says drill a 1/2 inch hole. So I'm gonna drill the 1/2 inch hole right here. I'm so nervous. Ugh. This driver is not working. I think the batteries are going bad. We're gonna see if this one works. Got it. I'm gonna take the shelf down, put the toggle bolt in, and then from there I'll be able to insert the screw through the shelf. This is crazy madness. I've made so many holes in the wall at this point. Thank God they're all gonna be covered up. We're gonna put it this way. After all of the setbacks that I've encountered with installing these shelf brackets, it seemed like things were finally starting to look up for me. I really took my time with installing these toggler bolts because I really did not want to have to go back to the hardware store and get any more supplies for this project. Please, Lord, let it work. The nerves that I have right now. I just want it to work. Oh yeah, it's on there. I'm so excited. Yes!
Yes!
It's on there.
It's on there.
This thing is not going anywhere either. It's on there.
It's on there.
I feel accomplished. Let me make sure it's still level. Did it move? It's level. I think there was an issue with this screw. It just spins. Oh my gosh. Oh. Okay, so this bolt. It's still in the wall, but I need to put another bolt over here. If I take it out of the wall, it's gonna rip the wall, and I don't want that.
Honestly, you should leave it in there.
I'm going to, but I just need to figure out where to do my other.
Just make another hole next to it.
Yeah.
And leave that one.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. I have to do what I did last time, which April, duh.
You got enough holes in the wall.
You're saying, do you think I have enough?
I'm saying I think we have enough holes in the wall.
No, I don't think so. Why not make more? Let's make some more holes in the wall.
How about we make a bigger one? Just pull the whole thing out.
We are gonna make a bigger one, actually. It's gonna be 1/2 inch. So yeah, there's that. After everything I went through with the kitchen this week, I just wanted to be done with installing these shelf braces and move on to some pretty progress. This better be it, guys. There's no turning back. Why is it shaking? Is that supposed to happen? What? This is no. This can't be happening. Oh, what's going on? I'm gonna have to take my shoes off so I can get on the counter so I can see. Help me. Oh my gosh.
It's like the battery.
Why? That doesn't sound right. It's not working. The battery's gonna die? This is getting me so mad right now. I think I celebrated too early. Guys, I'm gonna take this behind here and cut it. Don't tell me it's broken now. You gotta be kidding me.
Battery's probably dead. One life.
Yeah, but it's full. It's not like blinking.
This is not full. This is dead.
No.
A full battery would be that.
It has enough though. Let me see.
Okay. Hurry. Determination. How about sit down and wait for the battery to charge?
No.
And then come back to it.
I want to get done now. After much resistance, I finally decided to give in and charge the battery. At least long enough for the shears to get the job done. Got it. I've got it. Sometimes it pays to be stubborn. It took a little bit of effort, but I was finally able to get that stubborn bolt out of the 2x3 brace and finally move on to installing my last bracket for my open shelving. Going in. With all the challenges, this was feeling like such a huge win, as I was finally moving past the task that you won't even really get to appreciate in the end result and inching my way towards more of the visual progress. This thing is not going anywhere either. Okay guys, I just finished finally securing the shelf brackets. So now I stained this picture frame molding and I absolutely hate it. I don't like the look of it. It's not the vibe that we're going for. So I'm gonna prime over and then we can paint all of the trim and the windows. One issue that I'm having down here with this cove molding at the bottom, when I open my window and I go to close it, it has trouble going all the way down because the cove molding is pretty weak. It's that PVC material, which is very, very fragile. It's not the best material for this. So what I did was I went to Lowe's and I found the same exact size cove molding, but wood. So I'm gonna take this bottom piece off and replace it with a wood one, and then I'll prime and paint it. I did all this for what? In order to remove the cove molding, I used my multi-tool to cut away the nails that were securing it to the window frame so that I could take it out without having to pry it out or damaging the other trim surrounding the window. This was a pretty simple process and one that I knew I could handle without anticipating any issues along the way. I know it may not seem like a lot of progress was made in this video, but many of the little steps that I took were to ensure that the big ones would be a success. We are getting so close to finishing up this kitchen and I have learned so much through tackling it head on, facing my fears, getting over the hurdles, and going back and fixing my mistakes. Like I've told you guys several times in my videos, every problem has a solution, and even when I have to go backwards just to fix little mistakes that I've made, I know that it's worth it because I'm learning so much and gaining so much more confidence in DIY. So now I have some nails that are protruding out still. I'm just gonna cut them down flush with the frame of the window so that I can go ahead and install my new trim. This was a very similar process to the last step, but I had to admit it was a lot more satisfying. After I cut down the exposed nails, I made sure to scrape away any excess caulking that was left over from the previous install. Okay guys, I just cut my corner here with my miter shears, and I'm like kind of dry fitting it because I'm, you know, a little traumatized from the last experience, but I think it's gonna work. In order to get this part done, I definitely had to cut this trim with force. It's in the smile, you see, it helped. Some of you might remember the issue I was having with cutting the cove molding in one of my previous videos, but this time I decided to just use my miter shears instead of the miter saw because I can manipulate it a bit more to get more precise cuts, and it ended up working out in my favor, even if it did require me to use a little more elbow grease. From here, the rest of the install was smooth sailing. I am so pleased because this cove molding that was giving me such a headache last time, I was able to replace it and it looks really, really good. I kind of want to replace the other ones that are PVC as well because at the top corners it just doesn't really look good. Now I just need to fill the nail holes. It looks way better. Like the corners look way better than they did before. In this video, I finished up the tile install and my breakfast nook area of the kitchen, prepped my window and trim for paint, and finally finished installing the open shelving brackets with the right bolts. And of course we made some mistakes along the way, but that's to be expected at this point. In the next video, I'll be finally finishing the window and the open shelves. I'll be priming and painting the doorway trim in the kitchen, installing new kick plates under the cabinets, and actually making some more pretty progress. So if you've been enjoying this kitchen makeover series, you can support me by liking this video, leaving a comment, and subscribing to my channel. Thank you for watching and be blessed.